All parents be aware. There is a general policy to push gay and lesbian values to children in our schools. The policy aims to teach gay and lesbian equality. However, equality cannot be taught by discriminating against our children's belief. Parents are forced to accept the policy when the school claims it is the law, we have to teach it. Nowhere in the law, Equality Act 2010, does it state that you have to teach gay and lesbian values. It is blatant discrimination against our ethos to promote a gay ethos in our schools. Form a parents' community group in your school and start a campaign against such policies to safeguard your children. Meeting every Sunday. Somali from 4:30 to 5:30 and English from 5:30 to 6:30. I wonder what particular social group is currently objecting to the gay ethos that is being promoted in their schools against their own ethos. I wonder what ethos that is. I just can't imagine. Let's have a look at the reverse of this leaflet. What can parents do? Ask your children what they have been learning in school. Ask your school what they have been teaching. Speak to other parents about any concerns you have. Join together with other parents to form a parents' community group. This is what two mums, Mariam and Fatima, did at Parkfield School, who are now campaigning to safeguard their children. Programs like No Outsiders are not a legal requirement. The Equality Act 2010 does not require the teaching of such programs. Nothing in this chapter schools applies to the content of the curriculum. The promotion of homosexuality and LGBT lifestyle to children is an immoral and unlawful imposition that contravenes the rights of parents to educate their children in consistency with their religious and philosophical convictions. Parents' rights are expressed clearly in the following Acts of Parliament. I'll leave them to you if you want to look them up. This is, of course, about the group of mums, the Muslim mums, who do not like intersectionality being taught at their schools to their children, specifically through the form of LGBT awareness. I mean, just the buzzword LGBT is an intersectional innovation, so you know what ideology you're dealing with as soon as someone trots this out. And the Muslim mums are not happy about this, and so they withdrew their children from the schools in protest. Mr. Moffat, who is gay, has come under fire from some Muslim parents who believe homosexuality is a sin. Outraged mother Fatima Shah, who's taken a 10-year-old daughter out of the school, said, "It's inappropriate, totally wrong. Children are being told it's okay to be gay, yet 98% of the children at this school are Muslim. It's a Muslim community." Are you listening, intersectional advocates? Far leftists who would like to tell everyone that Islam is welcome, progressive, open and definitely tolerant. Are you listening to what they're saying? The words coming out of their mouth. The reason they believe these things. They believe that being a Muslim is incompatible with being gay. Okay, that's their core belief. And they think because it's a 98% Muslim school, that makes it a Muslim community and it should be Muslim rules. Do you listen to what they're saying and the actions they're taking? I hope you're aware that there are... I mean, what if there are gay kids there who are afraid to speak out and be themselves, being oppressed for being gay by the Muslim community here that thinks that being gay is not also being Muslim? Fucking hell, man. We knew this was going to come. This was inevitable that this was going to come, and now it's here. Look at this. This guy's gay. Andrew Moffa, the head teacher. He's a gay head teacher, right? They think he is immoral. They think he is a bad person for what he does in his private life sexually. And they don't want him teaching their kids, apparently, this LGBT No Outsiders program. They don't want him teaching that, right? So the question is, really, who is going to bend first? That's it. Who's going to bend? Is it going to be these middle-class white people who are going to insist that they are, in fact, the true anointed chosen of the LGBT God to spread this? Or are the Muslim mums going to cave first? The fucking school caved. They caved. They stopped the LGBT lessons after a bunch of Muslim mums complained. Had it been any other kind of mum, I doubt that would have happened. I bet they would have been called bigots. I bet they would have been called homophobes. I mean, where are the slurs, Guardian? Where are the slurs? Let's go through your article and see if we can find you calling them mean names, which I bet you're not, are you? A primary school taught pupils about homosexuality as part of a program, challenge homophobia, stop lessons, blah, blah, blah. Parkfield schools, parents claim promoting gay and transgender lifestyles. Blah, blah. Okay. Any insults? No, not Muslim mums. Not homophobic mums, sorry. About 600 Muslim children were pulled from the school. The school made it clear that it never intended to continue No Outsiders lessons this half term and confirms that lesson was only resumed after a full consultation with every parent. Yeah, so they pulled it because they were weak. Because these people have more courage in their convictions, right? That's what this all comes down to. But notice how The Guardian is not calling these homophobes, bigots. They're calling them predominantly Muslim. They're not saying, they're not saying they're bad people for doing this. That's the thing I find really interesting. The issue was just first raised by Fatima Shah. You mean far right, conservative theocrat, Muslim extremist Fatima Shah, surely? Or just Fatima Shah, woman who's perfectly fine with her. And I love the benefit of the doubt here as well. Like, if this was me or someone else like me complaining along the same axes as Fatima here, because she has a point. I do think that a lot of this is probably inappropriate for 10-year-olds to be reading about, but not calling her names. And she just says, we're not a bunch of homophobic mothers. We believe that some of these lessons are inappropriate. Some of the themes being discussed are very adult and complex, and the children are getting confused. They need to be allowed to be children rather than just have to constantly think about equalities and rights. Right? Obviously, it's SJWs imposing this agenda on these kids, and I've got no doubt that it is genuinely confusing to the kids, but that's not how it was being represented when it was on those pamphlets. But hey, who knows who wrote those? I mean, it wasn't her, admittedly. But the point is, this is being presented as if it is a fair and, just a normal thing to believe, whereas if this was being raised by anyone else, it'd be just a string of epithets and it'd be slurs. It would be constant slurs, hateful, blah blah blah, all this nonsense. Doesn't happen because of a Muslim woman. Amazingly, the Muslim MP for Birmingham Ladywood spoke out after parents in her constituency complained that the primary school was teaching kids about same-sex relationships. Right? Wouldn't happen if it was me doing it. Right? She said, and I don't think that primary schools should teach children about same-sex relationships. I don't think we should be really teaching them about relationships, like adult relationships at all. That's just the sort of thing they can just naturally take in from the world around them. But speaking in a Commons debate, she said, none of my constituents are seeking particular or differential opt-outs at secondary school level. It's all about the age appropriateness of conversations with young children in the context of religious backgrounds. See, as if children outside of religious backgrounds don't still have age-appropriate requirements for the conversations they have about sexuality. This is a privilege that is being expanded to people in the context of religious backgrounds. Whereas the thing is, most of the United Kingdom is irreligious at this point. It's like 51% or something, just not religious. So it's like, this is becoming a problem, in my opinion. The fact that this is just an expression of identity politics. This particular identity group can actually address this issue. Other identity groups, or lack thereof, can't. And what's especially ironic about this is Mahmood here, who has backed gay rights legislation in the Commons, including voting for same-sex marriage, said the government should ensure the rights of minorities were protected, but that included the rights of people with orthodox religious views, including some Jews and Christians as well as some Muslims. Why? Why do they have to be protected? Any more than anyone else? If this kind of LGBT bullshit is going to be forced on the general public, why should they not just count as the general public? Who is separating these groups out? And this is, of course, coming from the top. I mean, Chief Inspector of Ofsted Amanda Spielman supported the school, saying it was vital that children knew about families that have two mummies or two daddies. It's really not, okay? It's really not. If kids see two mummies and a child walk around, they'll say and they'll ask, and their parents will explain it to them. Okay? It's not vital that children are indoctrinated by LGBT bullshit in classrooms at the age of 5 years old. It's absolutely not fucking essential. That's entirely ideological. And like I said, it's coming from the top down. And now they're coming into conflict with the conservative Muslims, religious Muslims, who are not happy about this. And they've just gone, well, okay, well, Islam takes precedence over what we're trying to put on. It's like, well, okay, why don't other people's objections take precedence? Why do they have to be shouted down as bigots, whereas the Muslims don't? I mean, fuck's sake. You must see how this is creating sort of like two-tiered societies. I mean, this is what Sadiq Khan was complaining about. Like, we can't just strip Shamima Begum of her citizenship because that creates a two-tiered form of society. I agree. I agree that we genuinely can't just strip her of her citizenship, even though, man, that would have been the nice and gratifying thing to do, but we just can't do that. And we shouldn't give the state the power to just, like, arbitrarily revoke citizenship because of public outcry. That's dangerous, man. Especially, like, Jeremy Corbyn gets hold of that, man. There'll be a lot of public outcry and a lot of fucking stripping of citizenship. But no, we can't do that. And this is the problem, though. It's creating... I mean, for people who are constantly whining about equal societies, it's weird how you're so willing to grant privileges to some and not others. You think that and you wonder why the people who aren't getting treated in the same way as these now privileged groups are saying, hey, why do they get to have privileges and not the rest of us? Why aren't we all being treated the same? And you wonder why they become resentful. Honestly, it's ridiculous.